Welcome to Single Parent Success Stories, a podcast designed to inspire single parents. Here you'll find resources from self-care to finances to parenting and everything in between. Discover what it takes to thrive. Let the stories inspire you to what is possible. Hello and welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today's guest is Gary Martinez Jr. He's a single dad to Cristian and Monica. Gary's favorite thing to do is spend time with his kids, listen to the 80s decade, and go for hikes. Welcome, Gary. It is a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. So please share with us, how did you become a single parent?
Um, well, I I've been a single parent since it's 2008, so I had to think there for a moment. And to go back just a little bit, when I found out my daughter was diagnosed with autism, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what that word was. I didn't know what this was all about. So I became a parent who was in panic mode. And my daughter was having these breakdowns where she would scream, she would hit herself, she would cry because at the time she didn't know how to talk. So I had to make a decision, and I had to start to change my health in order to be an active, providing the best care for my daughter, being a single parent, because I learned that being a fitness trainer is one thing that I also am. So the physical energy, I'm used to that. The mental energy of my daughter, the way she lives her life, was totally different. So I didn't understand that at first. So I got mentally drained. So being a single parent, I learned that my responsibility was to take better care of myself. So I made that change, and it improved my relationship with my daughter. And then when she started talking, I got to learn what things are important to her in her world that we do every single day. So that has helped me the most as a single parent, is to take care of myself.
Yes, you're so right. When you're a single parent, you got to take better care of yourself because you have nobody to rely upon. You got to be on 24/7 and have the
Yeah,
energy.
exactly.
There are no vacations, there are no days off. Kids might get sick, but you got to be on all the time.
Yeah, 24/7. Yep, you got it.
What are some of the challenges you faced being a single parent?
Um, is I would say the most important one is the energy, the energy to do everything every single day. Like you said, no days off. Every single day, you're back at it. So it's the energy part for me. And like the three most important things that have helped me have this energy throughout the day to last with my daughter, and when my son is here, is stretching is one of my favorite things to do, because back in the day I did not stretch, so it caused problems for me in my life. But then now I'm consistently stretching, and it helps my body and my mind kind of connect. It makes me feel it just it makes me feel good after I do it. And then the next thing, which is probably the biggest one of all, is eating. So I changed the way that I eat, and I have much more energy now. I used to sometimes get sick at least twice a month for many years. And then when I made changes with what I eat, it actually went reverse. Since I made the consistent change 3 years ago, I haven't been sick since then. So it's given me energy, better health, and it also makes me happier. Um, and then the last thing is treating myself well, like with the way that I talk to myself. So that way I'm prepared for when I have to take care of my kids. That if I'm good to myself, talking good to myself, then I share that same type of positive energy with them. And like we said earlier, I like to go on hikes. So when I go on hikes, that's a good time when it's just me by myself, where I get to see the nature. It's everything outside is alive, the trees, and I just look at everything, stare at everything, and then I'm talking to myself about just what I've done during the day, what I'm going to do, and I say it with good words, and it just really helps me reset for the day.
Nice, nice. What did you change about your diet? What were you eating before that you're not eating now?
Oh, I was eating everything you're not supposed to eat. Like too much of it. I was eating too much candy, cookies, fast food, chips. I can eat a whole loaf of bread. I was just that kind of stuff. And then what really changed the most, what I put into my diet was the things that I never wanted to eat, and it was all my fault. So I started to eat a lot more, fruit and vegetables. Fruits all throughout the day is helping me a lot because it gives me the energy, for everything, every action that we take, and especially up into the brain. And I don't eat as much animal meat because for me, it would get me like a little bloated and some other things. So I've cut back on some things. So a lot of fruit and eating vegetables, just putting the right nutrition into my body. And then also taking herbs and supplements to also protect the body, protect the immune system from, viruses and all those things are out there. So that stuff right there, just keep it really simple. Like I had to start real simple, like pick one fruit that you like the most, start eating that once a day, and then I made the okay, now I add this. So I just took it in small steps.
Yeah, that's how we change, by taking small micro steps.
Yes.
Good on you for realizing and recognizing that and making that change, because the difficult thing in life is to change yourselves. There is
Yes.
nobody standing, when you're a little kid, parents make you do things you don't want to do. But when you're an adult, now you gotta be that person. Kind of, you go do that.
Ye-
Even you don't like
yes.
it, you don't want to do it, but you gotta do it. So good on you for doing that and taking your health in your hands. That's amazing. If you had a chance to go back in the past, would you do anything differently about your life?
Um, to not worry about what other people think of me and just be myself and go after my own passions and just not worry about what anyone else thinks because it's my life, it's my life, it's me doing something that makes me happy, and that's what counts the most is me being happy with myself. Because then when I'm with my kids, then I take that with me because I I've learned from my past that I just gained wisdom from that. Like my relationship with my kids is now I want to see them happy. So I don't put my hands on my hips and try to tell them, okay, I want you guys to do this because I did. It's the opposite. Now I'm like, what I do as a parent is like, I want you guys to do what makes you happy. How whatever kind of hairstyle you like, you do that. However you want to dress, you do that. You want to be in music or sports or drawing, whatever you like to do, you do that, and I'm going to support you because the most important thing is to make them happy. So that way, on all sides, we're feeling good about ourselves and get to enjoy life that way. And just keep it simple.
Yes, simple is best. What kind of advice would you give to single parents who are just stepping onto the journey of single parenting?
Um, to have some, so a couple of things, all under the same umbrella: patience, understanding, because it's not easy to be, a parent, especially a single parent, but it is the most rewarding thing you can do. So have some patience with yourself and understanding with yourself and also with your kids because we're all on this together. So patience, understanding, and just, don't feel like you're alone. If you feel that way, like, then, there's like support groups on, like on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, or just talk to a friend that you can trust, that you can listen to. That way, when you need someone, you can count on someone to be right there for you. That way you have support. So those things right there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. What are you passionate about?
I'm really passionate right now about getting on podcasts and sharing sharing some of our stories, and then I also started my own podcast. So I would say right now it's one of my new passions is that I started my own podcast, and that is to it's for autism parents to share their story because there's going to be more people in this world being diagnosed with autism, and that's already been forecasted. So I would like to share these stories from different parents so people can learn about us and learn about our kids so they can be accepted for who they are, and so that it's easier for them to make a friend. So that's one of my big passions right now.
What are some of the things kids can do to get friends when they have autism? What would you say?
It's different for each person. I can't speak for everybody, but maybe some of them are, it's not hard for them to make a friend. And I know for my daughter and some other kids that I see that it's a challenge sometimes because like like my daughter, she likes to kind of just play by herself, watch her favorite videos by herself, play with her dolls or draw by herself because it helps her focus and relax and she can control it and it's not overwhelming for her. So it's not like she doesn't want friends, but she likes to have her own time to do stuff. So I think it's more about finding people or other parents with kids with autism or like that to kind of arrange to see when we can visit each other somewhere, whether it's maybe at their house or some event, because sometimes for a lot of us is we have to go to events if we can make it because our schedules are all different. As much as we like to see each other, our schedules are what they are. So sometimes it's family and friends, or for us it's a lot of adults. Like my daughter likes talking to adults when we go to stores and places like that. She feels who she's comfortable with. So sometimes it's like one of my friends. If one of my friends has positive energy and understands that these things are important to her, like our Disney characters, then my daughter she'll feel that. And then she just recently made a friend with one of my friends is now one of her best friends because she understands the movies that she likes, and so she'll talk about that with her. She'll listen to her. So it could be a person of any age, and it's just having the right energy and wanting to learn about this person. Because once my daughter or a kid they accept you, they trust you, they will open their door up to let you into their world, and then it becomes a beautiful thing. It's a one of a kind relationship.
Thank you. Thank you. What is the smallest thing you've done that had the biggest impact in your life so far?
Um, let's see. That's a good question. I would say being open to learning and like taking off that ego badge because like the younger days, the younger person me, had some ego and pride and just wasn't as flexible to learning from others so I can, gain wisdom. So for me, it goes back to my daughter. Like, I had to learn what was important to her. So I had to take my ego and pride badge disappeared forever once she started to talk, and then I was able to learn from her. That was the best thing is to be open to observe people and not to judge them and just to learn from them.
Yeah, yeah, because oftentimes we assume how we see the world, it's how everybody sees the world. And what could trigger us does not necessarily trigger other people.
Right.
It's a good lesson to learn.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the most important trait to instill in a child?
I would say or kind of go against the grain. And my answer would be to let them explore. Like, I want her to try things that she wants to try and not like kind of tell her what to do. Because I kind of think that school should actually start at a later age So in their younger years, they can actually explore and do things that they like and have their own experiences rather than like me, the adult, try and tell her at a young age to do this way, do that this way. I want her to learn and to do things her way so she can have that independence and to be more creative and to see and to have that kind of energy with herself.
Mm-hmm. No, but when I'm speaking a trait like kindness or confidence or yeah, I understand about
The confidence with that.
starting at a later age. I think you bring a good point.
Yeah, I would
Or-
say the confidence in herself
Mhm.
to kind of go into that kind of like an umbrella is the confidence of just trying out things for yourself so you can build that as you get older. You're more confident doing new things. So
Mm.
to try out new things and to learn to get the confidence from it.
Okay, so being high code, not being afraid to try new things,
Yeah, take the risk.
take the risk. Yeah, that's good one. Good one. What do you think is your superpower if you had to pick one?
Superpower. I like that one because I like superheroes. Um, uh, hmm, because I'm thinking of a couple of different answers. I would say my energy because when I'm passionate about something, whether it's me doing something or helping somebody, my you get all of my energy. So I'm all in to that. I go the distance and our give all that until we can accomplish that goal. So I'll have to say my energy.
Good. That's a good one. Did you have a hero growing up?
Yeah, so this let's see, may sound a little funny to some of you maybe perhaps, but my dad was in the military when I was young, so we traveled a lot, but then he was also gone a lot because it was part of his job. So for me, I guess my father figure when he was not there was watching movies. So at a young age, when we moved back from Australia, we came to the United States where I live at now, and I was like, wow, look at all these channels. So the first person that I saw is like I kind of like the underdog person in like movie roles. So for me, it was Sylvester Stallone, and I watched Rocky 3 was the first one that I saw from him, and then I saw First Blood. So Sylvester Stallone, a movie actor, still to this day I watch those same movies because he was my hero in a sense that I was a shy kid and I didn't have too many friends and I was just a little different myself. So me watching his movies was my control that I got to learn from him. I because I know what the movie was about, it made me feel good inside. And then he inspired me in his movies to actually start exercising to take care of my body. So it was Sylvester Stallone for me.
Oh, so he inspired your career choice too, becoming a fitness trainer, right?
Pretty much it all ties in like that. Yep.
Cool. That's amazing. What is your go-to self-care practice?
My goal for my own self care.
Your go-to, your number one.
Oh, my number one. Oh, my number one go to. Oh, it goes back to stretching. Stretching for
Stretching.
me because like I said earlier. Oh my gosh, I disrespected my body when I was younger. I
Mhm.
took stretching for granted. I never wanted to do it. I thought it was silly. So I paid the price. I got injuries in sports.
Oh.
Sometimes I can, when I would just twist and turn, just doing nothing, just being at home, I
Mhm.
would pull a muscle, and that's like, man, I should have been stretching this whole time like I was supposed to. So I learned that lesson from a lot of years, and then I recently started stretching these past maybe about Uh, Probably more consistently about the last 5 years. So I learned that I have to stretch my whole body. Not only does it make me feel good, but I'm more flexible. I'm more confident with my body when I'm doing anything, and it makes me feel really good. And the other thing I like about stretching too is it's kind of like, it's like an exercise activity in itself. It basically is, and that when you're doing something positive and healthy for your body, like those negative thoughts that come into our head every day, they start to disappear because you're doing something good for your body. So therefore, my mind feels really good about it. So I feel mentally and physically together, just a happy person doing
Mm.
the work by stretching every day. So it's the consistency of doing it every day. And now I do it. So I went from zero stretching back in the day to I stretch about 2 or 3 times a day.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
For the single parent, um, got some good questions today. Uh, think for a second. I think you pretty much touched on the main parts of it. I might just add that, okay, so like, there's a lot on our plate because we're the only parents. I would say, just for the parent out there, like when you're feeling overwhelmed about something, whatever it is, go back to, take a step back and do some type of self-care, because you don't want to feel that way. I don't like to feel that way. So it could be something simple because we're all pretty busy. We don't have time, but we can make time and find those little slots in a day. So whether it's just going to the bathroom, closing the door for 10 minutes and taking a nice shower with no distractions, that's self-care. That counts. So whatever you can do for self-care. I mean, if you have to go into your room and listen to a favorite song that makes you feel good because you know all the words to it, and music makes the brain work a little faster and feel good, do whatever type of activity or something of self-care so you feel good throughout your day. So when you have those rough moments, you know how to help yourself out.
Thank you. Yes, that's very, very important. Oftentimes we forget because we gotta take care of our others and we forget about ourselves.
Yeah, it's easy. It's pretty easy to fall into that.
Would you like to, if people would like to find you or learn more about you, said you have your own podcast, would you like to share your links, your social media?
Sure. Yeah. I have the just started my podcast, so I got one episode under my belt, and I have another one coming out next month. And
Mhm.
the name of my podcast is the Gary Martinez Jr. podcast. And yep, I'm on all the social media. It's under my name for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Sometimes on TikTok, I get a little silly, or do some with my kids. So you can see some of my it's more of my little personality on there.
Mhm.
I'm on YouTube, and yeah, those are the main ones that I'm on.
All right, thank you. And we'll share all of the links and episode notes so people can click directly. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story, your wisdom, and your tips. I got one that, I gotta go do some self-care. I have been neglecting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much again for having me on, and have the best day. And thanks again.